Do you want to add pop-up towers from Bedwars into your Minecraft worlds? Well, my name's testfor, and in today's video I'll be showing you how to do just that. Starting off with a showcase of the item, we'll first have to add ourselves as the green tag so we know which team the player is on. Once you have done this, all you'll have to do is get the item and throw it on the ground in front of you. This will result in the rising animation playing as well as having sound effects. It's also important to note I've made this design directional, so even if you look in another direction, the doorway will always appear in front of you. Moving on to the commands, I'll first head over to my command room and I'll be starting out by detecting where the player is looking. Now, to make it easier to understand, I've marked down each input with a coloured piece of concrete, which on screen will act as a direction indicator, representing north, east, south and west. Starting off with the pink input that represents east, we'll first place a repeat always active command block with its function to test when the tag player looks at a specific angle, with this one being ry equals -45. Coming off this, we take this into a comparator and then a 2-tick repeater, and then finally a solid block. Moving on to the blue north input, this one's slightly different to all the others, with it having two main inputs which you'll see in a minute due to overlapping. Starting with this input, we place a repeat always active command block to test when the tagged player is now looking at ry -135, being 90 degrees away from the previous angle on pink. We also copy the comparator, but this time set the repeater to just 1 tick. We then take this into a block and then a sticky piston facing towards the pink system's block. Essentially what this is doing is when the systems overlap at certain angles, it'll lock the other output so only one can be detected. Moving on, we place two repeat always active command blocks with their inputs being nearly identical, but this time using rym values, which works closely to their ry counterparts from before, with the green input being -45 and the red being a +45. Coming off the commands for a second, you'll want to copy the redstone layout on screen, with it needing an expansion on the second blue input because of overlapping and us needing to stop that. Once done, you'll want to place a repeat always active command block to test when the player is looking at rym 135, with it being the last of our angles needing to be detected. Onto the activation of the pop-up tower, you'll want to copy this redstone layout on screen with the sticky pistons facing down, so when powered the repeaters can send through an output through the newly moved blocks. In the command block at the top, we set it to repeat and always active with its function to test for when the tagged player throws the item on the ground in front of them. Finally, onto the easiest bit, which is pretty much just copy and pasting each line with slight adjustments. We'll first place an impulse needs redstone command block with its function to load the pop-up tower structure, with us getting to that in a second. This is also the only command block that changes throughout the entire line, with all the others degrees changing like shown on screen. Moving on, we add a conditional chain always active command block to kill all pop-up tower items on the ground, making it a one-time use item. Now for the last 7 command blocks, they are all the same with a 3-tick delay set to chain conditional always active, with their functions to play a sound effect every 3 ticks while the pop-up tower is being built. With that, all you'll have to do now is replicate these command blocks on all the other systems, with once again the impulse command block being the only one changing like shown on screen before. Finally, onto the very last thing, we'll actually have to build up the pop-up tower structure like shown on screen, with the front side of the structure facing west and the back side facing east. You can also check which direction you're looking by opening an empty locator map and seeing where the cursor points, with the top being north and the bottom being south. It's also important that you fill the remainder of the air blocks with some structure voids, so when the pop-up tower touches another build it won't destroy it. After that, all you have to do is click detect and then save on the structure block. With that, you're all done, and if you enjoyed this video then make sure to like and subscribe, and as always, stay creative.